Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Southern Dirt. My name is Summer, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you all the soil amendments that we put into our garden each year. Now I'm also going to show you a video of the kids and I got together and pulled everything out of the garden to get us ready to put our soil amendments in. You'll also see us harvesting some end of the season loofahs, which I hope you enjoy.
Hi everybody! Today we are going to be pulling up my mom's garden, and I hope you guys come along with us and you guys have fun.
So I wanted to show you guys my compost. These were all the plants that we just pulled out of our garden. Now we're not putting weeds into here because we don't want any weed seeds in our compost. Back here is compost I've been working on for maybe the last couple months, which isn't quite ready yet. We've also mixed in some of our chicken coop shavings and of course all the manure that came along with that. So actually since then I've got this beautiful papaya tree that is growing out of it. That's pretty crazy. And not only that, we've got a pumpkin growing all out here and along our ground there. So that's interesting, but what we're probably gonna have to do is just pull it all in and it's all gonna become compost. All my chickens are definitely enjoying all the little scraps as I'm putting things in the compost. They are also getting a lot of these bean plants. What I'll do, they've got a lot of pods on them, so we'll be throwing them, little groups of them each day. I also have some sunflower heads in here along with some kale that I went ahead and broke off before I threw it in the compost. I don't like to throw stems into my compost because what happens is they just become sticks. Can certainly break it up and add it to your compost. Over time it might break down. I just don't personally like to have the big sticks in my compost. A lot of these seeds we like to throw in our neighborhood and create little flower bombs. So here's what I just throwed into the chicken coop. I've got a sunflower head. This year I have saved plenty of seeds for sale. So anything that was extra, we always like to feed to our chickens. And as soon as I start throwing these in here, they will hear it and start running. So they'll have a nice healthy snack in here. So before I start this video, I want to tell you guys that all this garden area here used to be grass. So before we even started amending our soils, we started with removing all of our grass. My husband came in with a machine and ripped all this grass up. We then dug ditches and then backfilled our ditches with soil. And from that point on, as we started our growing season, each season we would put our amendments down. So these amendments have been consistent and we typically do them 2 to 4 times a year. And I will now show you exactly what we typically do with our garden amendments. Now that we've removed all the plants, I'm going to rake back the existing mulch in my rows and in my beds. The reason I'm doing this is because you don't want to throw your soil amendments right in those rows if you have 2 to 4 inches of mulch. Those soil amendments won't ever really make it to where your plants are going to be able to grab that nutrients, and if it does, it's going to take a while. So I like to pull it back and put those amendments right directly on top of the soil, and then at the end of our planting, I will put new fresh mulch on top. So now I'm getting ready to treat the garden with this nematode control. Now, if you don't know what nematodes are, if you're pulling up your plants and you see that you've got these nasty knots, they kind of look like here, this picture here. These are actually nematodes that are attacking your plant and taking the nutrients away from your actual plant. So if you're noticing that your plant's losing leaves, it's not producing well, that's a good indicator that you possibly have nematodes in your garden. Unfortunately, a lot of the times people will miss this. After their whole growing season, they start pulling their plants and they have all these nasty knots on their roots. I never even knew what nematodes were until about 3 years ago, and I've been gardening for 7 years now. So this is something I think is important. There may be some gardens that don't even have it, but mine does, and I'm gonna go ahead and treat it with this. It is OMRI listed, and you can use it anywhere. It is expensive, unfortunately, and there are natural ways that you can treat for nematodes, like solarizing. So I typically mix mine in a hose-in sprayer. You can definitely use a pump sprayer. Because my garden is so big, I want to saturate the ground and make sure I'm penetrating through my soil. So this is what I prefer to use, and you just mix it according to what your bottle says. So now I'm going to apply some wood ash. This wood ash is ash that we have saved from our wood burning fireplace in our home. So if you have a wood burning fireplace as well, or a cooker that you can cook with from wood, make sure you're saving that ash because it does wonders to your garden. Now, I just started saving it last year, and what I did is halfway through the year of our growing season, I added it to our vegetables with our vegetables already in the ground, and it did wonders. So I'm gonna go ahead and start our garden off with this, and then we're gonna go ahead and apply our compost. Probably best to do this when it's not windy. I lost a lot of my product due to the wind, so I'm trying to kneel down and kind of make sure that it goes in the area I want to. I'm just doing it lightly, and we're gonna go behind it and water it in. And you might want to wear a mask because you don't want to be inhaling all this, especially if it's windy. So now I'm going to be applying compost. We do save our kitchen scraps and yard debris to make our own compost, but it is not quite ready yet. So we're just going to put regular old compost you can find at your local feeds and seed stores or box stores, garden centers. Right now I'm not going to put compost or any of my wood ash over in this garden because I'm not yet sure if I'm going to be putting raised beds over here. I do have a couple old water troughs right here. Thinking about putting these two over there. Just trying to figure out still how I'm going to utilize that space. So we'll definitely let you know whenever that happens. And in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and water all this in, and then we're ready for planting. You can also do all these soil amendments if you have already planted your garden. So all of these different products that I'm putting into the garden are something you can side dress your plants with. What that means is you can just sprinkle all these things around your plants and then water them in. So this is how I start my garden out. I'm also going to show you something else I'm going to be adding, but I'm not sure if it's quite ready to add, and that is my worms that I have been growing and raising and feeding most of my compost to, and I'll go show you these here in just a second. So here is another one of my composting bins. I actually pulled up my sweet potatoes and throwed the vines in here, and check this out. The vines are actually growing more sweet potatoes. So this, I started out with just I really should use a shovel to do this, but I don't have one back here right now. I started off with a pack of composting worms, and there's one. You see that? So I ordered, I think it was 500 or 250, and over time they actually will multiply. So I've been feeding them back here, and we definitely are getting more worms. And what I plan to do after I've planted, I think probably 3 or 4 weeks in, I'm probably going to add some of this and side dress my plants with. So that way it will capture some of the worms. The worms will find their home in my garden. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about any of my soil amendments or how I did it, please definitely drop them in the comments below. My website is now live, so if you haven't checked it out yet, it is www.southerndirtfarmandgarden.com. You can shop my store and sign up for events. Right now we don't have any events going on. We're taking about a few weeks off, but I will be doing a garden tour, a fall garden tour, probably mid-October. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll see y'all soon. Also wanted to tell you guys, this did not happen overnight. This was over a course of several weeks. There was no way I could have done all of that in one day. So don't stress yourself out. Take it day by day.